Hey, everybody, Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast, and you know the drill by now. This week we've got the full crew in action, John, Randall, and I, and I'm going to be kicking the ball over to us in just a little bit here for some pretty much just video games chit-chat all over the board. We kind of spin off a bunch of the physical copies that I've been picking up on Switch lately, and then that just spins off into a bunch of different conversations. We kind of talk about a little bit of our gaming habits and like how John will loop around and play some of the stuff that I talk about on the Save It for the Cast. Like we talk a little swordship. Again, just kind of all over the map, a little bit of a potpourri conversation, a lot of Switch and Nintendo focused chit chat. Because again, I just can't stop buying these physical copies of these games. Now that the Nintendo, they announced that the next console is going to be backwards compatible with Switch games. They haven't like officially announced that it's going to have a cartridge slot, but I'm just kind of fingers crossed and going willy-nilly hog wild on picking up anything that I see a good price on. Even just yesterday, I ran over to Best Buy and they had I specifically went to get that like Bayonetta kind of prequel game. It's called like Cereza and the Lost Demon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right in particular. I don't know if it was a full $60 game when it first came out, but I saw that it was on sale for $25. And then while I was there, I was like, oh, Super Mario RPG's on sale for $33, even though Randall kind of trashed that one. And I'm not the biggest, or not trashed it, but, I'm not the biggest RPG fan, but I do really like those, Paper Mario, Mario and Luigi games, a lot of those games in those, series. And I've only played the original, Super Nintendo version very, very little. So it's kind of cool to see where it all started, and at like pretty much half off, I was like, why not? And then for whatever reason, I've had a hard time tracking down Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on Switch, and I really love that game on the Wii U. And they haven't added all that much to this version here, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to grab this one. This one actually wasn't on sale. It was but for $40, even though that I think was the full price of the Wii U version as well. But I just really, that game's just such a charming game. If you haven't played that one in any, way, shape, or form that you can, I definitely recommend checking that one out. And then they also had the Skyward Sword port on sale for $15 off. And I was like, you know what? I never really played that game because the motion control, I played a little bit of it, but the motion controls were really, really bugging me. I was just like trying to swipe vertically or diagonally or whatever, and you had to do something specific. And it was just like, man, it's not registering right, even with the Wii Motion Plus. So I'm excited to kind of check that out with just like the, button controls. And it does have the motion controls. So I'm kind of curious to see how it feels with the Joy-Cons as well. But what I've actually been playing this week, and actually before I even get to that, I'm always just kind of checking the Nintendo eShop, and I was super pumped to see 3 games that I've been, one that I knew was coming out this week. It actually got pushed back by like a week or so. But Anton Blast, which is like a very much like a Wario Land 4 in particular inspired video game, and very much in like that Pizza Tower vein, if you've seen that game around as well. Just like really kind of like fast-paced puzzle action platforming with loads of personality. Anton Ball Deluxe was the first game from the studio, and I'm just super pumped to see this one. That was more of like an arcadey platformer, where this is like very much like a level-based, hop and bop. I was going to say run and gun, but yeah, more of like a hop and bop, bash 'em up platformer that just got like a very much like a Game Boy Advance kind of style to it. And then 2 games that I didn't know were coming out on Switch, at least not right now. Victory Heat Rally, which is just an amazingly stylish 3D. It's pixel art, but it's like 3D racing game. And it looks like they've just added a ton of like stuff since I've only played the demo of this game. But then I saw there's a physical copy of this game getting released on Switch, not until next year, but I'm probably just going to wait for that. Because it just seems like a game that's just like oozing with personality and charm. The pixel art's just like just so much like vibrancy. And the music I remember just being amazing. And again, this was just like an early demo that I played way back when. And I've been like eagerly looking forward to this game coming out officially. And now that I'm like, okay, it's getting a physical release, I gotta snag that. And then another game that I've only played the demo for as well is called Naiad, Naiad. And it's like this top-down, I guess, sort of like puzzle adventure. It almost feels like more of like a point and click kind of thing, although you're in full control of your character, but just feels like kind of more like low stakes like that, if that makes sense. Like where you're not like, you're not action puzzle solving, at least not in the little bit of the demo I played. Although, to be fair, I only played a tiny bit of this because it really didn't run very well on my little laptop here. But it's just like a really, really beautiful game that just immediately I was like, oh, I could just see myself getting lost in this game for a few hours, and I'm assuming it's not anything that's super lengthy. But yeah, just really excited to see a bunch of these indie games that I checked out demos for a while back, or even just like was looking forward to, popping up on Switch all at the same time here. But then a couple of games that I actually have been playing, a couple of like kind of spy-driven games I picked up, and I might have even talked about this one on the podcast before. It's called Master Spy from Turbo Gun, and this game was on sale for $2. I didn't even know that it was on Switch. I just stumbled across it while I was perusing the games on sale. But I discovered this one via one of the Itch.io charity bundles that I scooped up over the years. But I was just super pumped, like, okay, I know I'm going to play it more. I only played like the first like maybe world or two. It's like an action stealth arcade platformer. You're playing through like levels. I always say arcade platformer when it's just like kind of single screen. There might even be some scrolling in this game later on. I can't remember. I think there is, but like basically you just play as this like kind of like character in like a trench coat. You almost look like more like a thief than you do like a ninja or something like that, or like a, I don't know, I'm just picturing like somebody more like stealth, like in like a black costume as opposed to like in like a trench coat. You just definitely kind of look more like a villain. You got like a black like ski mask over your head, but you basically just have to like grab the key card on a stage, and I'm assuming they throw more things into the mix as the game goes on, and then that unlocks the exit door, and then go through the exit door, and then your only ability is just to like move around, and then you can turn yourself invisible by like kind of tucking yourself into the trench coat, like nobody can see you when you're in that mode. No cameras, no anything, but you move quite a bit slower, so you really got to kind of like juggle the risk reward versus, because you can totally, there's no timer on it, you can stay invisible at all times, but obviously you can't clear like a gap on a jump if you're in this invisible mode, if it's like a longer gap. But then there are like things in the game like dogs or something that can sniff you out even when you are invisible. So it's just like a really like, it's a stealth game, but it's like very, very twitch and actiony. It's just like really cool, really stylish. The presentation is just out of control. And then another kind of stealthy arcade game, or very stealthy arcade game, Super Spy Raccoon. This is another one from Flynn's Arcade, and they were kind enough to actually send this one our way on Switch. And I actually picked this up, or I'm sorry, I downloaded the demo, and I was going to pick it up. But the demo, for whatever reason, on my laptop just didn't boot up. It was just like a blank screen. So then I was like, they shot us a message and said it was coming out on Switch. And I was like, oh, man, perfect timing. I was like just trying to download this like a month ago. But I was super pumped to check it out. It's like a really tough right off the bat. This one's more stealthy. It's very actiony as well, but like, you just can't let anything see you. There's, different gimmicks on each stage, but you're just trying to like stay out of the line of sight of basically every different enemy. There's, certain ones that just kind of like run across the screen. So you just got to time, based on which way they're facing. And then there's like an owl that'll just kind of like, turn their head every few seconds. So you got to kind of jump over it at the perfect time. You can also like grab a potion that'll turn you invisible, but that's more on like a timer. And you just got to collect all the files on like this single screen, kind of like vertical, Donkey Kong style arcade game, and just grab all the files. And then the cool thing in the game, you can grab them in any order you want, but like one of them will be highlighted in like yellow, kind of like a manila folder or whatever. And then that one, if you grab them like in the proper order, you get like a bonus points and everything like that. So you can collect extra lives and whatnot, but it's just super stylish. It feels like very, very retro in this at the same time, but like a little more personality. And then otherwise you're just trying to like hide, in the bushes while enemies are, running past you, or hide behind little statues, or, there's just like a cool little gimmick on each stage that is just a ton of fun. But yeah, I guess one other game too that I was about to wrap it up there, but one other game that I also picked up that I scooped up on Switch recently on sale that I kind of had forgotten about is called Rogue Sentry, and this is kind of like a 1-bit Metroidvania. I can't honestly tell if it's top-down or side-on perspective. I thought for sure it was top-down when I had seen the game in action, like, whenever I first saw it. But now that I'm playing it, like at least when it very first starts, it sort of feels like you're like jumping off the ground or like breaking free from the ground as like your little robot character. But maybe it still is like top down and you're just breaking free from a wall. But nonetheless, you just play as this, like, it's just got a ton of personality. It's like a black and white, almost feels like a Pico 8 style game in a way, but it's definitely not. But I just really love the presentation. It's essentially like a bullet hell top down or side on, whatever perspective it is, Metroidvania. I say Metroidvania in the sense of like the exploration. As of this point, I haven't unlocked any abilities or anything like that. There's no dash, no anything like that. It's just like purely a twin stick shooter. You can play with either the joysticks, the two joysticks to aim, which gives you like a little more, almost like, I was going to say accuracy, but I actually tend to use like the face buttons because you can also press like, X on Switch to shoot upward or A to shoot to the right, or you can press like two of them at the same time to shoot diagonally. So sometimes when I'm like trying to line myself up with like a switch that I'm trying to break or something like that, or an enemy that I'm trying to kill, that I'm just like, okay, I got to shoot right through this corridor here. Like I'm just going to try to, I might switch, I kind of just juggle back and forth in between those two control modes, I guess. But it's just like a really cool, really tough game that I wasn't quite expecting with like, at least for now, since I haven't unlocked any new abilities yet, like the exploration's almost gated off by like, this area seems like it's a little too tough and maybe I am going to unlock some abilities. So at least for now, I'm kind of like enjoying that, explorations portion of the game where I'm like trying to figure out if this game is just that hard, or if I am going to unlock some new abilities as I progress through the game. Like I would love to at least get like a dash or something like that. But nonetheless, those are the few games that I've been firing up on Switch lately, and a few games that I'm looking forward to snagging on Switch in the future here. But yeah, that's enough rambling from me here, and I'm going to kick it over to John Randall and I for a little more video games chit chat. And until next week, we'll catch you then, and take care. Doing quite a bit of gaming myself, trying to bulk up on these videos again, and then I finally was like, I don't know why, like the new Mario and Luigi game just made me be like, I gotta go buy that like today. Like I didn't buy it on day one, but I even ended up like waiting like fucking 20 minutes at Target to get someone's attention to take it out of the cage.
Wow.
Because they didn't have it at Best Buy. It probably was like 10 or 15 minutes, but seriously, I was like wandering around forever, just like trying to like anybody in a red shirt, man.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any copies at Best Buy, which honestly, half the time they just have them sitting in the back. So, like they're like, "Oh, didn't realize it came out today."
Kind of a shock on like the release like that. That's like Nintendo's showing that as like their holiday release practically.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point actually. Between that, and Zelda.
I don't know if I'm not like running in like main media or like video game media circles anymore, but like I don't notice like any like publicity for any Nintendo games anymore.
I only like pretty much like because I pretty much go on the eShop every single day, so I always like see the recent releases,
but that's also like on
stuff,
the platform itself.
Yeah, that's like the only way I see stuff. Yeah,
because I was like thinking it was like, God, I have not seen much about like what's the Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Like I finally saw some like gameplay videos of it, and I was like, oh, this looks really nice. But like,
it's a really good looking game for sure. Obviously it's looking similar to the previous game, but I'm back to thinking I want to get that game. I almost put it on my Christmas list, but I didn't. I did put a few games though. I did put that Luigi's Mansion 2 HD on there.
That's a good idea.
I was like, I'm never gonna buy this.
Yeah,
I kind of want to have it in my collection. I did actually just buy both Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, because I was like, oh, I just sold my car for $1,000. Let's $1,200. Let's go. Let's buy some games.
Yeah.
So I bought Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and Paper Mario. Remember when I kept buying it and they kept sending me the European version of Paper Mario Origami Kid or whatever that game's called, and I kept sending it back, and eventually I was like, screw this. They're never going to send me the right version. So eventually I finally rebought that, and then the reason but they were both like, not even on sale, but they were just like $52 or $51. I was like, oh, that's, a little better than the normal price. And then actually that Doinksoft collection on Switch, which has all three, it has Gato Roboto, Gunbrella, and Demon Throttle.
Nice.
On there, and it was on sale for $25. And I was like, I already own all of these games, but I was like, I don't know, it's just kind of cool to have, I guess.
Have it physical.
Yeah.
Nice.
Even though it doesn't come with any goodies. And then I bought that Euphoria 2, the saga as well.
Ooh, nice.
And I bought I just ordered. It was also on sale for $25. I ordered that Sea of Stars game, that like RPG, which is like the Messenger sequel or like follow up.
I don't know about. I did not make that relation to it, but maybe like I did not read a lot about it either.
Well, it's from the same studio, and it's at least set in the same universe at the very least.
I didn't know that.
And then I also just randomly they had like on Amazon I could order with no extra shipping cost from Amazon Japan a copy of this game called Drainus, which is like this 2D shoot 'em up that our buddy Nick McConnell recommended to me a while back, and it's from that Playism is the publisher. I don't remember who the development is.
Did I pick that up?
It might. You know what? It might be from that Team Ladybug. I think you might have even been talking.
It
about
is Team
this,
Ladybug.
John.
That's how I knew. Yeah, this is on my on my wish list. Yeah,
because I just looked at it in action, and it was a little bit more, but it's one of those games. I think the full price is like $20. It goes on sale for like 14 here and there, but I was like, for 32, like to get a Japanese import physical copy, I don't mind if I do.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Drainus looks sick.
It looks awesome. I love
incredibly looking games.
Yeah,
incredible looking games, and at least based on that Tohu Luna Nights.
Yeah.
Like, I really loved all the gameplay elements of that, and then I never finished it, but I think you did, John, and you had mentioned like that it was like kind of short and sweet, which is obviously my kind of Metroidvania. So,
well, yeah, if we're using the C credits, then yes, I did beat it, but then there was a like epilogue section, and I made it to the final like the true final boss. So if you like 100% it, and I never beat it because like that, it was just so fucking brutal. Because at that point it was just a bullet hell game. And I was like, oh, this is not my strong point. I was doing a lot better as the Metroidvania parts of this game. But it was sick as hell. It was such a good game. And
that game was awesome. That's one that I really need to go back and play.
And then I did mention on the podcast, I think, Record of the Lodos War, they also did.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
Which is another...
Yeah, so that's the one I was thinking of when I was like, I think you might have mentioned this.
Yeah. Deedlit in Wonderland, that's another adaptation of an IP that they like. Team Ladybug is like, all right, we're just gonna make a cool looking Metroidvania like bullet hell. Like they have a specific genre that they work in, and it works.
Yeah, they definitely know how to do a bullet hell for sure. Yeah, that Drainus looks like sometimes like shoot 'em ups just look like so like almost like I don't want to say throwaway, but even when they look cool, like I've kind of like gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't need to like buy every shoot 'em up that has like decent pixel art that looks like it might be fun. I'm like, because some of them are just very generic or very, even if they're pretty good, I'm just like, I just don't even play them that much. But like that one just has like immediately, I'm like, it just looks like there's so much going on, so many levels. Like it looks like more of an adventure than just playing like a shoot 'em up,
So I'm
great reviews too.
Save my related thought for the cast, because that's kind of what my thoughts on swordship kind of are in terms of like I'll save it. I'm just gonna save it.
I'm curious. I didn't know that you had scooped that up actually. I'm kind of loving that you end up like just scooping up some of the games that I talk about on like a save it for the cast, or even that I talk about regular.
Low key, I think that there is a kind of funneling or a filtering of the games that happen on this podcast where like Kevin plays far more games than like Randall and I combined. Then like I will pick up on the ones that are like stick out to me. And then after I give they finally get filtered down to the person who has the least amount of free time out of all of us. It's sort of like a cultivation of the massive amounts of games. So
appreciate y'all's efforts.
But anytime Randall picks up a game, I feel so good. I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, Randall's playing 20 minutes till dawn.
I know, yeah. I'm like, oh man, that must have piqued his interest.
But there's so much, like there's so many games to like go through that like you really can't feasibly play them all unless you're Kevin. In which case,
no, dude. Even if you're me, dude, there's so many games that I just go, it looks cool, but I'm never gonna buy that. And
give a fair shake to so many more games than like I ever could.
But you beat a lot of games, and I literally pretty much don't beat
couldn't tell you the last game. Well, no, I take that back. I just beat Nuclear Blaze the other day. And I beat Pepper Grinder. So I beat a game here and there, but like it's pretty rare, and they got to be like 3 to 4 hours max.
And you play a lot more of like arcade and like
games that you like don't beat.
Right. Whereas
you're just like playing it to play it, basically.
Swordship is one that I was like, God, I don't normally play this type of game, but like it made me want to continue playing it.
Yeah, when you shared that thing in the
that's just
about that, like
it's not an actual mode. It's like an unlock is like
I assumed it was like a gallery kind of thing.
Like, but like if they made a sequel that was open world, fuck, I would love
that style is just out of control.
It's one of the best looking
game.
Games I've played in so long, and like it doesn't have that much going to it, like for it. It's just
it's really simple. Yeah,
it's just incredibly slick. And I'm saving it.
Perfect word. Perfect word, though. Slick is the word. Slick ship.
Yeah. Sword slick.
Yeah, that has a better ring to it. I even busted out, because I've been on like my physical copy kick. I busted out my Tiny Barbarian DX.
Oh my gosh.
From like, that was one of like the first physical copy games I bought on Switch. That game's actually kind of sweet, to be honest.
With all the goodies inside too. Yeah, that's one of those.
I actually still have the little keychain on my keychain.
Oh.
I'm surprised that I actually use that. Usually I'm like, keep it all in the packaging.
Oh yeah,
of course. Like, I'm just gonna screw it. I came with that little like pouch, and that there might have been like a coin or something too. I don't remember.
There was a lot. Yeah. There was a lot in that one.
Yeah, pretty fun. That game, like, it just feels like fluid combat, like fluid platforming. Like, I don't know, it just has, it's unfortunately from Nicalis on the publishing side of things, but I was having a blast with that game, and I kind of forgot that it's like there's like 4 or 5 separate campaigns that you like essentially play through, which is kind of cool. Obviously they're all short and sweet, but
it looks real nice.
I don't know, it's like kind of a cool structure.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know that I ever really gave it much of a chance to play, to be honest, but
yeah, I played some co-op with DJ back in the day. I think that was kind of the main reason I gave it a try, and then I was like, I never really went back to that one. And
yeah, I definitely think I opened it.
I've definitely gotten better at that. I've opened all my games. The only game I still haven't opened yet for some reason, because I'm like, I feel like this one's going to be worth money. I also feel like I might not ever actually play this ever, is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection.
Yep.
I was like, I have the retro games of most of these. The ones that I don't have, like, am I really going to fire up like the Game Boy or Game Gear or whatever other games are on here? No.
Maybe once, and you'll be like, wow, that's tough.
Like, that's tough and rough around the edges. And I was just like, it's just not happening. I might even just sell that one, to be honest. There's some, like, sometimes I just buy games where I'm like, I bought like the Street Fighter collection. And like, I know, like, Randall, you got like the the joysticks and the arcade sticks and stuff, like a little more justifiable. It's like 95% of the gaming I do, I game by myself. Like, when am I ever really going to play the Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection and pop that in and just play some random fights? I've never popped it in once since I bought it. So it's like, I feel like I should just get rid of it, you know?
It's worth launching Street Fighter 3 Third Strike just to see how pretty the art is, and
I like those games. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't know if I'll ever get, because I've played it on other. I've bought like a handful of other Street Fighter collections over the years.
It's fair.
And same, like, I always buy those like Mega Man collections, and then I'm like, and then I always get mad about the like input lag and delay, and I'm like, why? Oh, the button mapping, and I'm on the GameCube one back in the day. Like, you can't even flip the jump and shoot. Like, what the fuck is this game?
Just unbelievable oversight.
Yeah,
in a version that can't be patched.
Yeah, the decisions that people make sometimes. I even just bought this game on Switch called Excessive Trim.
Yeah,
which was actually fun. It was a game that was originally made for that Disc Room Game Jam.
Yep.
And they were
the dev on that.
It's that Panda Indie studio that I talk about all the time on the Save It for the Cast. Like, they made that Project Starship X is probably like their most famous game or popular game. And then I've picked up a ton of different shoot 'em ups from them.
Like, I've since putting starting to put the developers into the spreadsheet, like, I've also been like basically doing what we do on every episode, where we just go down rabbit holes on Wikipedia and be like, oh my god, this team would develop that too. That's like wild.
Yes.
But yeah, that Panda Studios, that was, I remember.
Yeah, they've made
one.
a ton of games. It's like out of control. But I think it was called Harvest Doom was the name of the game originally.
Yep.
And it was like you're like playing as this like alien on like a saw blade and spaceship, and you're just like mowing down farmers and like mowing down crops, and you're like collecting like weed. It's like really ridiculous. And they like, but for whatever reason on this Switch version, like they just like have the game in like a smaller window on the screen for no reason. Like it's not like a game that would be like Tate mode where it's cropped in like a 4:3. It's literally just like the outer 20% of the screen is just totally empty for no reason. Weird. And whether you're playing handheld or on TV. And I was just like, why did they do that? That's so weird.
What was it developed for originally, you wonder?
On PC, I think. But it just makes no sense. I get, maybe it was like a mobile game and then they were just like but still it'd be the same aspect ratio.
It would be pretty similar, you'd think. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes no sense to me. I was like, and it just seems like if they blew it up on the screen, like it would be the same, it would fill the screen. So I couldn't believe that there wasn't like an option to like, oh, let me pick the, stretch mode or whatever.
Yeah.
To fill the screen mode. But
it's not like it's 4:3 on purpose. It's just like
exactly. Yeah. It looks again. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like it would just be the exact ratio of the filling the whole screen.
Weird.
If it was stretched out.
Oh, also, I got an update about the Shadow of the Ninja Reborn physical. Mm-hmm. I emailed them after we talked last, and they responded quickly. I'll give them credit.
Nice.
And I actually love the reason why. It's so basically what they said was that there was a huge patch that happened. So they're holding back on the ones that are from the publisher until that patch is available. But so I don't mind.
Get the real deal. Yeah, you're going to get
it's going to be on the cartridge.
Patch cartridge, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a more final version of that game when the eventual eShop servers or whatever shut down. And we can't download, full versions anymore.
Re-download it if it's gone. Yeah, got to start thinking about that kind of stuff. Like, let me back up these, save files or these patches to these games.
Yeah,
somehow, if you can.
But we went and actually me and my buddies went and saw that new Alien movie like a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking, I was like, it's kind of fun like going to the theater again. So
yeah.
Because honestly, I might have even told you guys this, but I hadn't been to the theater since I saw Parasite before that. So I was like, I have not been to the theater in like a long time.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic. So
yeah, that was us. Taking Fiona, we took her to Inside Out 2 during the summer, but that was the first time since any of us had gone to a theater since pre-pandemic for sure. Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
It was good. Yeah, it was a good movie.
Nice. I want to see that one. I enjoyed the first one. I didn't love it because I feel like people hyped that one up and I was expecting like, oh, this is going to be right in that for me, like Up and Wall-E and those are like kind of on my top tier. And I was thinking this might be right in that caliber. And I would put it just a little rung below that, but I still really enjoyed it.
I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah.
I just thought it just got a little bit repetitive over time. Like it just felt like, okay, we're going to go to this next. It felt like a video game almost. We're going to go to this next world and do this quest. And then, Especially those kind of movies, those like kid adventure kind of movies.
Mm-hmm.